All right, there it is. There it is. What's going on, world? Listen, man, I'm gonna cut out the fat, cut to the chase. Let's get to it, man. Boom. ETH 207. There it is, man. There it is. Let me see on the screen. If you can see it, you can kind of see it. There it is, world. There it is, world. How's it going, world? What's going on, world? What's going on with you guys? Listen, I was over here. This is probably like my, excuse me, third or fourth take. This is like the third or fourth take that I'm doing this right now. The other few were about 30 seconds to a couple of minutes. Um, it's a little different. Hold on. Dang, that thing. Mountain Dew Voltage Raspberry. Shout out to the Voltage Raspberry. You know, I know my voice kind of carries a little bit, especially in these specific spaces. There's times where like I probably have to yell or just raise my voice a little bit here, and people have snuck in through the, not snuck in, but just peeked through the little door window pane just to make sure I'm doing all right. This is actually a different room that I'm used to being in. It's actually smaller than the one that you've seen me in the past episode, so it's going to be a little different here. I don't know how much my voice is carrying, but I'm already hearing the reverberation and like all of it coming back towards me within this space, is the ambiance of this space, I should say, the aesthetic of the space, whatever the word is, I don't know, but it's a lot smaller, so I'm hearing my voice hit the walls, travel back, and come back to me. So it's a little different right now. I will say, man, this is the Truancy Hour 207 for those um, that haven't been known, that haven't been keeping up. Just so you know, a lot of this stuff right now, we're in the 200 section. We're going to tap into this university mindset here, man. We're going to talk about it a lot more. Past couple of days, I haven't been speaking as much, so your boy just out here losing his voice a little bit. Your boy just losing his voice, so it's a little tricky. I had the camera propped up, telling you, man, people be calling me at the worst time all the time, all the time. Every time I'm over here getting stuff done, every time I'm doing, hopefully everything's still recording. I think it is, but every time I'm over here just recording, I got the mic attached, everything is set up. Somebody always wants to call me, and someone always wants to fuck with me on the weekend. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is, man. It's love, man. It's love. That was a loved one right there. A loved one, a true loved one that's sitting there hitting me up, and I'm like, no, I gotta hit the deny on that because we out here busy doing the content. This is what it's got to be. So this is for everybody. It might not make sense now. It's gonna make sense down the line. A couple house things right here, man. Like I said, we're in a smaller room. The whiteboard, it was filled with work from previous people that were in this class. I don't know. It had something to do with like geometry boxes or something like that. It was a lot of dimensions and calculations and stuff. A lot of math. It was a lot of math. So like I said, they left me a they didn't give me the things that I needed to wipe down the board. So I had to go into the other room, one of the rooms I've used before. I had to sit there, grab the spray, use the spray to like spray down the whole board. I had to like put a lot of elbow grease into just like wiping it off, and I had to go twice over. That's how much ink they were using. The dude was pressing really hard. Whoever was here last time, pressing really hard with this dry erase marker here. So I might leave them the same thing, but I always clean up after myself personally. I'm always cleaning up after my writings. You know what I mean? Because I don't want people to know about the TTH. A lot of people aren't even tapped into the content either, really. So, you know, there it is, man. I'm trying to embold it a little more. This is TTH 207. Last time was 206. We were we're in the room next door, so I don't know how. There's kind of a bit of space. I don't know how much the voice is going to carry, but I can see them through the window, but they can't really see me. And they have like a little PowerPoint thing going on right now. So I'm trying to keep my voice as low as possible, but I'm also trying to have the natural carry that I have. Anyway, man, we've bickered long enough about all this. Let's get a little focused. Let's get a little, you know what I'm saying, a little more serious here, man. Today is actually November 1st. This is being recorded on November 1st. Like I said, we got the lighting from the windows as good as it's going to get. I had to put the blinds down, but I twisted it so I can get some sunlight in here. And the whole point I was making with that was like, I don't want people on the other side seeing what's going on. It's not their business. But anybody walk in, I'm going to invite them in. Like that's the type of person I am. Hold on, where we at? Boom. All right, so today is being recorded on November 1st. For those that don't know, a lot of this stuff gets scheduled and put out into the future for future reasons, future purposes, etc. Check this out, man. The Truancy Hour 207. I want to talk about The Haunting. All right, I thought about this because I had wrote this note down. Excuse me, a couple of days ago. This is actually before Halloween, even though this is recorded after Halloween. I wrote this note down, a couple of days ago. I also was thinking about this because there's the haunting and then there's being left behind. You understand? These are the two concepts I want to kind of speak about today. But before we get to that, I almost forgot about my own house rules here. Flip this chair around on the side, get my access to my notes. So we'll do it like this. All right, here we go. I'll keep the notes right here on standby. On standby. For those that don't know, man, you haven't been tuning in. I wanted to speak about the university mindset. I'm going to do better at speaking a little slow. I'm also going to do a little better at just trying to be mindful of, like, I've been speaking a lot. I mean, I haven't speak a lot, but I've also been holding my tongue a lot just in general. Just being very mindful of like spaces that I'm in and stuff like that. But the university mindset is an important thing because people will go to vocational colleges, vocational institutes, technical colleges, community colleges, universities, you know what I'm saying? All different forms and different levels of college and different levels, different brackets of what you can afford, who allows a sponsor, or what's the word? I'm sorry, not sponsor, but I forget the word. Um, it's not sponsorship. It's the one where you get the pretty much they pay for your scholarship. Excuse me, scholarships. The point I'm making is this, man. Ivy League, it don't matter what it is, but people, they go to these things, they participate in there, and they get accepted at these places. Keyword accepted. They get accepted in these places and spaces, these university spaces and places, and it starts to validate them. And I'm here to let you know, like, you understand the degree of difficulty of your own personal life, the degree of difficulty of things that you choose to challenge yourself with, if not challenge yourself with. I was talking to a young man. He's about a couple years younger than me, anywhere from 5 to 7 years younger than me. I was talking to him at the job, and I was saying something to him. And maybe I said it wrong because he didn't understand what I was trying to say. But he's just like, I don't know if I hear you there, man. He's laughing. He's like, I think I would probably go more towards the path of least resistance. And when he said the path of least resistance, I was like, I don't disagree with him. I actually don't disagree with him at all. I was like, yeah, it makes a lot of sense. But the point I was trying to make to him in regards to the conversation was that when you go to work, when you got a job and it's not that hard, that means the job is easy, man. It's smooth, and you got workers that can work with you, not work around you, but working with you. So everything becomes easy. But it's life outside that gets a little hard. And he was kind of just like, nah, man, it shouldn't have to be that hard. And he's not wrong. He's not wrong that it shouldn't have to be that hard. I don't want to sit there and unvalidate that young man. And he's only a couple years younger, but my whole point, what I was trying to explain, maybe I'll be sure to bring this up to him next time I see him, is like, when it comes to the job, you're like, no one's necessarily forced to have a job. You know what I'm saying? There are specific jobs that people specifically don't go towards. They don't get hired towards, even though they're always hiring, and they're trying to get the jobs that they want. So the thing is, if you land a job that's pretty easy, if not easygoing, or all of the workers work together and everything's smooth, when you land a job like that, that was your choice. That means you made a choice to make your life a little easier, because all of that is encompassed in life. You understand? So for those people that have a job where everything's smooth, make sure you go through the job. You just knock out your time, get your pay for your time, because a lot of times you're getting paid for your time and not your worth. Now it's time to apply your worth in life. And that can be chaotic and that can be hard at times, especially when people don't necessarily see your value. I was thankful and I'm grateful that, the people I spoke to outside, right over here at the desk, I was a little worried. I was a little anxious because I walked up to them and I had said specifically, like, hey, is that small room in the back being used? Is that available? Is it okay if I use it? And they're like, oh, no, they're done for the day. And I don't think it's being used at all. I said, thank you. And then the lady goes, I appreciate you for asking. And it was like a very, cordial and professional conversation. But for some reason in my mind, I couldn't help but think that I was going to be met with some form of, you know, I don't want to say apprehension, but some form of like aggravation, like, who is this person here? Who is this whatever? But that's a whole nother conversation, because I did have right there, my phone is being propped in my NYU, New York, excuse me, purple New York University hoodie. So, a lot of times I walk around my university hoodies from different cities that I had visited, because a lot of times whether I'm going from point A to B, if I'm walking down the street, if I'm going to certain places, people just don't fuck with me. You know what I mean? They seem to fuck with me a little less when I was just being my normal self, just walking around wearing like my favorite stuff or like things that I got as gifts. And like, I like to wear a lot of sweatpants all the time and just hoodies and stuff like that. But I like to just be comfortable. But just wearing that alone, people would try to harass me and bother me. That includes the police. Police would harass me just by simply just existing sometimes. And I'm not going to say I've been like physically abused or physically attacked by the police, but I've been harassed by them. A lot of times I would just assume that they were doing their job. The point I'm making here is that when I wear my university hoodie, sometimes people just be like, "Oh, that's a kid, that's a student," and they kind of just leave me alone. And it's really strange how that works, but it is a strange validation. Now, the point I'm making is this: sometimes I enter spaces and I just like I got to use that to my advantage in order to kind of just navigate places. So that way I have less. Again, back to what the kid said, what the young man said. He said the path of least resistance. So sometimes I have to do certain things to facilitate that path of least resistance. I want to kind of piggyback on what he said. As much as he was in disagreement with me, it was on my part to make sure that I conveyed the truth that because I don't disagree with him, but I was just trying to convey a specific truth that hopefully that makes sense to people. So, anyways, the point I'm making is that life itself can be difficult at times. Sometimes it's so difficult that you know you got to sit there and navigate it. And then when you start navigating it and overcoming stuff, you start thinking that you can attack life the same way every day. And sometimes that becomes a form of insanity. You know what I'm saying? You're doing the same thing over and over. You're attacking life the same way every day because all the times that you were fighting back, and then now that you're starting to get some success, if not some whatever, from it, you think that this is the way and the only way. And sometimes some people aren't wrong, but sometimes you'll come across a certain an aspect in life where it may or may not work in your favor. You understand? Now, the point I'm making, let me wrap up this university mindset thing because I'm getting a little all over the place here, and I want to talk about the haunting and being left behind. So I want you guys to stay tuned with that. So university mindset, like I say, a lot of people understand their specific degrees in life that they've handled, the degree of things in life that they've handled, the threshold of things that they're willing to kind of just like, all right, I'm gonna let it get to this point, and then at that point, you ain't fucking with me no more. I'm gonna let it get to this point, and after that point, I'm not letting nothing get past this point. Like a lot of people understand that stuff, and therefore you can certify yourself. You understand? Therefore, you can certify yourself. See, I still spend days where I still wear the clothes that I like. You know what I mean? I like wearing sports clothes. I like wearing certain hoodies that have, whether it's my friend's brand on the hoodie or my friend's brand or just like a brand that I like. It doesn't matter. Like I'll walk outside. Um, and these are like indie brands. These are like Twitch streamers. Shout out to Solern. Shout out to my guy Bakari. Bakari does um, back to the basics. He does back to the basics. So I have like sweatpants from him. I got a hoodie from him. I don't know if I got. Yeah, I think those are the two items I got. I don't know if I got the shirt yet. I got to double check the website. And then Solern is a guy who is on Twitch. He's a streamer, and I have his hoodie. So sometimes I like to wear the things that I like. And then when it starts to get colder, I put a down jacket over it. And sometimes the colors themselves might be a little intimidating, or maybe the way I walk or carry myself are a little intimidating. Don't get me wrong. I don't do this for those purposes. But sometimes when you sit there and intimidate certain people, you got to understand that your worth as an individual, because I know myself. I walk around, what I'm saying, whether I'm holding that peace or not, I carry peace in general just within my heart. You understand? If you understand what I'm trying to say, bro, it don't matter if I got the peace on me or not. You know what I mean? I carry peace within my heart in general. Like I don't want to deal with anyone unless I can't be peaceful with them. Some people want to test you, you know what I'm saying? Some people of the same skin tone, if not the same background, neighborhood background, if not upbringing, want to test you. And I get upset at us treating each other like that. It really bothers me that brothers would really just get on each other's lives and get on each other's heads like that. It ain't right. This is something that we do. This is actually something that I'm aware of, and I've been I don't want to say a victim of, but I will say that I have been attacked on a couple of occasions. Most of the time, it's verbal. It's rare that someone puts their hands on me, but even in a situation where someone does put their hands on me, actually that's back then. That's like way back then. So that's some old stuff. But it's been a while since that's happened. And I think about it, and God forbid that that happens to me, because I want to keep the peace and sanctity within my heart that I'm leaning towards right now. Because I'm at a very, if I'm being honest, I'm at a very vulnerable state. I'm trying to sit there and transition to a more peaceful version of myself, a more loving version of myself. And the point I'm making here is that back to the university mindset, I'm using that is the terminology I'm using. If you have a word or a terminology that you want to use in regards to the university mindset, just understand it's just whatever you use to certify yourself that when you walk outside, no matter how the world treats you or the way that they look at you or how they label you, you know who you are inside. You're certifying yourself based off the degrees of things that you knew you handled and the things that you knew you went through, and then how you can move forward, if not get past the stuff that you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. I just want people to certify themselves, because people go to colleges People go to universities. People go to all the different type of vocational institutes, technical colleges, to get different forms of certifications that require 3 to 6 months plus 9 months. You know what I'm saying? 2 years, whatever it is. People go there to be assistants, you know what I mean? Dental assistants, medical assistants, surgical techs, surgical assistants, anesthesiologists, assistant techs, things like that. You know what I'm saying? So people go to school for a certain period of time to validate themselves, and people will really feel validated about themselves because of a certain pay grade being increased, a certain degree and certification that is being upheld. You understand what I'm saying? And being hired based off of those merits and the fact that you put your time in, and then now you're finally being accepted and hired and being paid for all the stuff that you've done. But you yourself, you know what I'm saying, let's take money out of the equation, have paid the price for certain things that you've experienced in life, and these certain things that you put yourself through as a form of hard work. There's certain people that have lived very nice, normal lives, middle class lives, rich lives, if you will. And people have lived those lives and they don't feel like they've struggled enough, but they themselves have signed up for certain jobs, if not certain military trainings, military deployments, in order to better themselves. And this is all they live and talk about because these are the most strenuous things that they've been through in life. It's something they put themselves through. And that's fair. That's fair. I can respect it. My whole point is that everything you do for yourself, everything you've been through, everything you've overcome, you can begin to certify yourself now. You don't have to sit there, pay a school to certify you, pay a school to congratulate you, and then wait for that job and that manager to do it. I want you to manage your own life, be the boss of yourself. You know what I'm saying? It starts there. It doesn't have to, it has to be, take money out the equation right now. Just be the boss of yourself, be the boss of your own spirit. You have one body, you're given one body, take care of it. You know what I'm saying? Try not to augment it, alter it, deface it, defame it, and destroy the insides, eradicate and erode the insides too much. Make sure you take care of everything, mind, body, and soul as much as possible. And once you start getting there, when I say the university mindset, I'm putting it in comparison to things that people will pay for, and understand that you yourself have paid the price and you continue to pay the price of mastering yourself. And even then, it's just like you're tempering the steel of the soul of self. So I want people to tap into this university mindset when I speak about it. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense the more I say it. But long story short, man, you know, start certifying yourself, understanding the degrees of things in your life that you will, the degrees and thresholds of things in your life that you have both went through and will no longer tolerate. There is a level and degree of ignorance, violence, ignorance and violence, just basically that I just, my soul is no longer tolerating. And like the only way I tolerate it now is in the form of music, because at least the music side of it creates a, you know, it's a sense, an essence of reminiscent of like, yeah, you come from that background. You understand? People who come from that background, they have something to relate to, but also something to kind of listen and vibe to. Because the music itself is good, but you know, sometimes that can alter people's minds. You gotta find some strength in your mind to not be altered by music. You know, that's a whole nother conversation there. But let's speak about the haunting. I want to speak about the haunting here. It's kind of in line with everything. Again, I want to like always start out with the university mindset because that's very important to every subject that I'm going to try to speak on and expound on as we go along slowly here. Also, it is a bad choice that I'm drinking soda, but I would say the water here, like I say, so this is the other point I want to make. It doesn't matter whether or not you're within these university spaces and places like I have access to right here. You understand? It doesn't matter if you're within a certain street or a road at the side of a university. It's a safe place. It's a safe place. Whatever. You got to find the safety within self. You got to find the satisfaction and the sanctity within self, and then you could walk around and move with that. So that way you're just not stuck in the house as well. So, you know, like I say, I take advantage of. There's some people who don't want to leave the house and they're not sure how to leave yet. Hopefully, this video will find you. And the whole point is like, yeah, when you tap into the truancy hour in the 200 sections, 201 all the way to 3, or hold on, yeah, 201 all the way to, I want to say 300. So we're going to go from 201 to 300. So that'll be 100 episodes, right? Hopefully we're going to tap into the university mindset as much as possible. And we'll see how long I have access to these university spaces and places. You know, I'll still have the badge helps grant a bit of access. Sometimes it facilitates that. But I still have to be mindful of people that need to walk in and out the room and grab certain things. I don't think it's ever happened yet, but if it does, you will see me kind of interact with individuals that come in and out the space. But like I said, some people are a little too introverted, if not damaged. They're not sure if they want to leave their humble abode, where it is that they live, where they stay at, their house or whatever, and they'd rather be around their own misery, sometimes the misery of their own home, or sometimes they just want to be in the comfort of their home. And my thing is like, if this video finds you in the comfort of that space, or just while you're within that space, hopefully this gets you outside a little more, because it's important to breathe some air, get as much sunlight. You know what I'm saying? Just experience nature and let nature take care of you as well, because nature itself can be therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? Whatever nature is around you, whether that be the nature of people, you can sit there and just start to slowly experience people and then slowly eradicate what it is you don't need in your life, and then start moving forward and towards the life that you want. But that's a whole nother conversation. Let's slowly get into this right here. Excuse me. My mind is all over the place. Like I say, it's a different room. There is a different energy here. I could tell that this room was a little more productive. So I'm probably just feeding off of that a little bit. This room is a little more productive, and it's a little more, it's kind of out the way compared to the other. There's like 4 other rooms. I like staying in the big one because I like just being able to have my voice carry and I could speak up a little more, but being here is nice as well. So I can tell that I'm kind of just feeding off the energy here. But hey, here we are, man. Within our university spaces and places, we're mastering university mindset within self. You know what I'm saying? From the root to the solar plexus, you know what I'm saying? We're not skipping over the sacral. We acknowledge that. Tap into the heart, you know what I'm saying? Get into the throat chakra a little bit, get that Vishuddha going. Third eye into the crown, you know what I'm saying? All up and down that joint. There it is, man. Tap into it. Listen, the haunting. Let's talk about that a little bit. So life experiences will haunt you for better or for worse. There are certain life experiences that will haunt you for better or for worse. And let's expound on that a little bit, because you can overthink them. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you can overthink certain life experiences. It might force you to become stagnant. It might even make you freeze. Let's get into this, man. We'll go the haunting. Oop. Now, being haunted by your life experiences. There it is. Put 2 dots on there. Being haunted by your life experiences, man. The point I wanted to make was that you can overthink them. All right? You can overthink your life experiences. And overthinking your life experiences sometimes can create a stagnant version of yourself where you're kind of just like, you know what, man, I can never get past what happened. You might not even understand that you're not getting past what happened. You start realizing you're stuck, but you're just becoming stagnant. Some people just freeze. A lot of times when you freeze, like you're slowly dying, if not just not growing at all. You understand? Similar to stagnant. Because stagnant, at least you're staying moving, but it's a little more stagnant. You understand? It's just a little more steady, but it's not slow and steady uphill. It's not slow and steady growth. It's just existing. And stillness sometimes, it's not to be mistaken for stillness, but it's relative to stillness in the sense that sometimes you need a moment to be still. If you're striving too much, you need to really just relax and recuperate. That's another aspect. So here's the other aspect of life experiences, or every time, and this is kind of what I do. This is what I do most of the time, maybe not all the time. Every time that crosses your mind, the life experiences, whatever that specific life experience is that kind of pisses you off, every time it crosses your mind, you can become motivated instead. Now, this is where things get tricky for me, because when I speak to people, they want to understand why it is I do what I do. Check this out, man. Let's start with this. You're finding this video because I uploaded it on YouTube. Hear me out. I uploaded this video on YouTube. This is my primary platform. I don't have other things. I used to do the Truancy Hour on anchor.fm. You know what I'm saying? I put music on, I want to say Audius. Those same songs that I put on Audius, I compiled into an album. Posted that album, the Music Mondays joint. Posted that. Bandcamp, Spotify, Apple Music, Tidal, wherever you want to find it, any major platforms, right? People are like, why are you doing so much stuff? Why are you on this platform? It's like, I remember them days when I was scared to put my face on screen. I was scared to speak too much and get people to kind of know me. It was like, everything I went through, it was so personal that it was nobody's business. There's nothing to really talk about. There's nothing to really address because I don't know you people. It's not, why would I talk to people about stuff? It doesn't matter to them. So here I am doing this. It started off with the opening packs of Pokemon cards, excuse me. Open these packs of Pokemon cards. It's just my hands with some music in the background. So you don't hear my voice. You don't hear the background noise of what's happening in my house outside the door or outside the window in my neighborhood, just all that stuff, listening to the traffic, things of that nature. Excuse me, I'm looking at the time here, just monitoring my time. So it gets tricky, right? Then I start doing like just showing my face a little more, start vlogging a little more, start showing myself. I'm like, I can't just be standing there talking. I got to smoke or something. I'm just always trying to, but here I am. And I came a long way because it all came from that. Some people don't want to deal with Google or YouTube. They don't want to deal with let's not get they don't want to deal with the monetization. I remember the days where it's just like I just sat around at the house. Or the days I just sat around at the house, not even realizing I was depressed, just sitting there playing video games. I was like, I'm trying to experience the joy of this video game, but I'm just depressed. I'm just killing time. I started to go through life a little more. I started learning about stocks. I'm like, damn, you could just make money while you sleep. There's certain months and certain weeks there's weeks of the month and there's days of the month where you get paid. There's days every quarter where you get paid. And I'm like, damn, you can kind of just make money in dividends as you rest on the side. You could just put that away and just watch it do its thing. I have an IRA that's still doing its thing right now. I do my own IRA on Robinhood, that is. That's a little different, but you're talking to someone who's blew through $10,000 3 times, if not 4. It might be 4 actually. The first time I sat there and I had about $5,000 worth of shares in T-Mobile, $5,000 worth of shares in Coca-Cola. So that was 10,000 easy. Then I flipped it and I put it in some other stuff, and I wasted all that money because I wanted to take care of myself while I was jobless. Fast forward, I get up to my next 10,000. I take that same 10,000. I pretty much take it all out. I go all in. I flip it on some crypto and DeFi, and I made some money back on that. But I also kind of cashed out as well. So I was sitting on it for a little bit. So I had to build another 10,000. Built another 10,000. I'm sitting there like, okay, let me rebuild this 10,000 right here. Built another 10,000. My mom passes away. I spent 10,000, if not $15,000, everything from my stock portfolio to my. I had like it was this one website, I forget the name of it. It's this app, but you can invest into certain properties, and then it would keep on investing depending on where you're at bracket wise. Whether you're in the hundreds or the thousands, it would put more pennies, if not 10 cents or 12 cents at a time, back into the property, and it would keep compounding once a day, every day, whatever. Had some that dealt with like portfolios of real estate properties. So I took like, was it 2,500 or 4,000 from that? Took a couple thousand from the stock portfolio, took a couple thousands from my crypto, had another 10,000, 15,000 that I blew through because I had to bury my mom. After recouping all my money from burying my mom and then paying off this $5,000 loan that I got on the side, because people don't know when it comes down to burying somebody, it's 10,000. It's about $10,000 for the actual funeral service. It's another $10,000. Excuse me, for the burial service, for the burial, and then getting the lot, specific lot and the location in the actual graveyard space. And it's about another $2,500 to $5,000 for the gravestone. So it was like 25,000 altogether. So on my part, I blew through another about 10 to 15,000, and then my brother and my cousins covered the other 10,000, if not 12,000 on the side or whatever the fuck. Because I can't remember all the money. I just had a lot of money coming in and out at the time. So that was like probably my third one. Now the crazy thing is, I realized this is my fourth one. It's either my third or fourth 10,000. I'm losing track of all my thousands here and there. I had that again because, and this isn't to brag. This is just to be honest about it. I had that money because after I paid off my $5,000 debt, I was just investing on the side. I was putting more money in investing and then slowly paying off the debt. I get slowly to the debt. You got to understand what I was doing. I had a nice job working at a hospital. I had benefits and all that stuff, and then I was working overtime there. I would be making 1,000 to 2,000 a check. Just a lot of money coming in. And I was just like, oh, let's take this money, let's flip it. I started slowly paying off debts. I went to therapy at least once a week. I went to therapy once a week during the time period where they didn't tell me that my insurance ran out, and also they wanted me to start paying out of pocket. No one made me aware of that, so I ended up becoming $2,000 to $3,000 in debt on that side. It was 5,000, but then they knocked it down to like 2.5, 3,000, something like that. And I ended up paying that off, $5,000 from the loan for the funeral, and at the same time, I built another $10,000 portfolio on stocks. Took that same 10,000 again because I quit my job. I was about to crash out on a couple people. I was about to, bust a couple heads, just out of anger. And I realized those same people I was angry at, I would see them in the workplace. I would still say hi and good morning to them, but something told me because they were just like a little too comfortable with me and disrespectful also. I thought I needed to beat their ass and just cave their head in, just keep punching their head until like I see something, you know what I'm saying, a little abnormal. Something cracks open, something spurts out. That's what I was thinking in my mind. I'm like, yeah, I might have to just fuck this person up. Let's be honest about it. But I still had the gall to say hi and good morning to these people. I still acknowledged them when I walked through the hall, and I was like, yo, you know what's crazy, man? That's when I started to realize, like, I'm not even mad at these people. I'm just using them as an excuse of someone I need to hurt today. I want to hurt someone today, and it has to be them because they're the most recent people in my life that have done disrespectful, disregarding things to my whole being. And it's not even that serious. The small things that they did weren't even that serious. It was things that I can kind of bring up and laugh at. And there was one particular guy I knew I could just clown on him about the goofy shit that he was on, but I didn't have the mentality to have a talk or a very witful, if not, what's the word I'm looking for, man? A playful banter with someone just to put them in their place. I didn't have the wits about me at that time period. I was just angry. There was something going on where I was like, yo, you're still able to say hi and good morning to these people, but you want to hurt them. And they didn't even really do nothing for you to that degree for you to want to hurt them that bad. Because I want to do like this to them, but what they did to me was just like real small. Just some small shit. So I started talking to my coworkers and I'm like, hey guys, it ain't even that serious. But really there's some, I basically broke down the same thing that I just said right now to them. I was like, and it's upsetting because there's people in these hallways right now that like, because I'm here 5 days a week, I can't help but see them if not run into them. And I want to beat the shit out of them. So I got to go. They're like, well, who is it, man? We could, my regional manager's like, let me know what the situation is. We can make that go away. We can take care of that. I was like, I know you would do that for me. I know you would do that for me. Because, these managers, they really like me. They like the work I done. They're like, listen, we can make that go away. I said, you're not wrong. But at the same time, before I clock in, I'm a man and I'm a human being first. And I just know that I have to handle things my way. And I'm willing to risk getting in trouble for that before I go and tell you the situation. But let me be more preventative. Let me be way more preventative and just let you know that like I still say good morning and hi to these people and they seem to be a little wrong to me. And it's not even that serious. Therefore, I need to kind of just leave because there's something going on internally within me right now that makes me want to hurt people. You know what I'm saying? I want to hurt people 100 times worse than the smallest thing that they're doing to me. Small little insults, small little jabs, little goofy shit that they want to say. Get real comfortable talking to me like we're friends and family or something. And I just want to hurt the shit out of them. I'm putting a face to my problems. You understand? I'm putting a face to my problems. And I'm like, this is the person that I'm going to choose to beat the shit out of and make an example out of it. So I let people know don't ever fuck with me. Does that make sense? I wanted to make an example out of one person in this space, in this lifetime, just to let people know, like, hey, you don't fucking step over this line with me. But realistically, what's happening is like you want to set that example and make an example out of someone. You want to cave someone's head in. You want to cave someone's chest in with just your bare knuckles and knees and elbows. You want to do all that stuff. You want to utilize all the boxing and martial arts that you've learned, you understand, to learn how to defend yourself and others and loved ones. You want to use that just to hurt someone to the max degree, just so you can tell people, hey, man, don't cross this boundary because I'll do that to you. What happened to him, I can do that to anybody. It don't matter if the motherfucker's 6'6" to 6'9", whatever. You know what I'm saying? No matter how tall this motherfucker is, 7'3", we laying him down barehanded. It's not about confidence. It's all about me walking in there recklessly because that's the way I am. So I started to understand and dissect that about myself. The point I'm making to you right now is like, I understood that what was going on. I was able to catch it. If I wasn't into therapy, the same thing that I was building a debt for, and I had to pull away from that specific place. And I was like, listen, I can't keep coming back here if you guys are going to start switching up the prices and not necessarily letting me know. So I got to stop coming to this place and I have to get therapy at another place. But because of that, therapy itself helped me identify these things where I was like, yo, I'm starting to catch this shit where I'm like, I'm really just mad at putting a face to my problems, but I'm over here wanting to set an example out of people rather than just having a simple talk to them. And I was not in the mindset and I was not in my right mind to have any kind of conversation with someone without profusely crying out of anger. Like, hey, man, I need you to chill out. Because I had did that to my brother, man. My brother was sitting there doing some funny shit on the side, talking to my cousins about some trauma that I went through that he never helped me with as a child. You understand? He was over here having a laugh and a go at it with my cousins about some traumatic shit I went through in my childhood. But it's like, no, my brother and none of my brothers and none of my cousins went through the same trauma that I went through as a child. But they over here wanting to make laughs about it. And I remember walking in his room with a baseball bat. I'm not scared to admit it. I said, "Hey man, I was crying, and I was crying. I was letting this motherfucker know, like, hey bro, I love you so much like my brother, but you didn't go through none of that shit. I should be caving in your head right now. I really should be caving in your head right now. I've been thinking about it for a whole week. How I should be fucking killing you and caving your head in right now. And you're lucky I don't. I'm just letting you know you fucked up crossing that boundary because ain't nobody else went through what the fuck I specifically went through that you guys want to specifically laugh at. Like it's funny. And that same shit that I was going through, I spoke about it last episode a little bit. Same shit that I was going through, it reconstructs people's brains. You understand? So when I say the haunting, it's like I can't help. But when it's time to express it, see, there's ways that you can kind of, I know this because there's basic people who don't have the same trauma that I have, the isolating trauma that creates this abundance of emotion. But the abundance of emotion can also be be very aggressive, if not angry at times. So I know I have that. I carry it. I can't help but apply it into certain aspects of my life that are positive and moving forward. Because it's like I'd rather hurt myself in the process of getting to my goals. I'd rather work really hard at that. Because if I'm not doing that, if I'm stagnant, I'm just going to become angry and blame people and keep putting faces to my problems and keep making examples out of people by beating the shit out of them just to let people know, don't cross that line with me. The whole point I'm trying to tell people not to cross the line with me because I don't want people to enter that space because I'm really hurt. I don't want people to hurt me anymore. I'd rather hurt people so bad that they don't try to come into my space and hurt me anymore. I try to befriend people less. You know what I'm saying? I try to be less available to people. So then there's less available time, less opportunities for them to insult me and try to break me down more than the hurt that I'm trying to undo, the hurt that I'm trying to heal. You understand what I'm saying? Sometimes that's what I started to understand about the human consciousness was like, I'm really just willing to hurt somebody so much so people know, like, hey, don't come back here with that hurt towards me. Don't try to hurt me or damage my soul any more than it already is. And the way I'm trying to prevent that is make an example of, like, I will do that to you. The way I did this person, the way I had them looking, the way I kept this person, I kept thinking about it. And thank God, bro. Thank God I never did that to anybody. You understand? I love to say that I was able to hold on to my own personal principles of, like, I don't want to hurt nobody. I don't want to hurt nobody. If I can just provide the same energy that wants to hurt people, if I can convert that into creating some form of positive conversation, if not outlet, whether that be art, creation of some form of content, if I can keep doing that, that's all the more, you know what I'm saying? But I'm not 100%. I can't sit there and lie and pretend like I'm 100%. But I'm damaged just like every other person that you might know. You understand? I'm damaged like the next individual. I have conversations on the phone with some of my friends on Discord, if not friends on the phone, and family members, and they'll talk to me about all the damage they went through growing up through life. And we'll have these conversations about it, these long conversations. We'll have these long conversations about it. And then after a while, they won't speak to me because they're like, damn, I don't want to take up James' time. I don't want to whoop de wop. I'm like, nah, man, I'm here for it. I'm here to listen to all that. Well, I got to monitor my time. The whole point is, like, you got certain things that are haunting you internally. There are certain things that'll sit there and trigger, you know what I'm saying, a thing, and it'll have you feeling like, man, I don't even want to do nothing because if I proceed with this, I'm gonna end up hurting somebody. I'm gonna end up hurting myself. It's gonna make me more sad. It's gonna make me cry in front of people. It's gonna and you just don't want to do nothing. So it makes you something stagnant. It makes you something freezable, whatever. My whole thing is this, man. I just want, like I said, I'd rather approach the loved ones than like a rando. I don't let these randos at work get under my skin like that no more. It wasn't easy. But like I said, when I said that most recent 10,000 that I blew, I had like 5 months off. You might have seen some of that content. I did the Truancy hour for 5 months straight. I made like about 150 episodes within 5 months or some shit like that. I could be lying to you. It was a lot of episodes. And that's all I did for 5 months. I blew through 10,000. On average, that's $2,000 a month. Just going through shit. Trying to take care of myself. Blew through another 10,000, you know what I'm saying? And I used that. It was weird because it was the first time that I was like, yo, every time you get a 10,000 that you blow, you're trying to put it into a new investment. You're trying to take care of a funeral. You're trying to take care of other people or their loved ones with it. And this is the first time you use the 10,000 to take care of yourself. And here we are. You know what I'm saying? That gave us 50% recovery from the mental mindset I was at. This is back in February when I quit my job. It's November now, and I got hired in August. So March, April, May, June, July, and then start of August, that's about 5 months. 5 months of just taking care of myself. But a lot of that was granted by the investment I had. And I really thought back. I thought back to that era when I was like laying in bed, trying to enjoy video games, trying to enjoy albums I was playing in the background, enjoying this video game that I'm playing, this Pokemon game that I'm playing. And I could barely remember the storyline because I was just sitting there not realizing I was depressed. That stuff was haunting. And for once I could say that was back in what, 2011, 2012ish or something like that. No, I think it was like 2012, 2011, 2012. I'm just sitting in bed like that. Come to find out, who would know 14 years later. And I'm sad that it took 14 years. Hopefully it could have took sooner, but I was going through so much shit in the meantime, trying my best to just be successful, if not a human being. Am I doing the math right? Yeah, 2012 to 2015, so like 13 to 14 years later, I'm able to finally like take care of myself. I was able to lay in bed and just sit there and wait. And like, man, today we got to make something happen. I had better habits now. I got out the house, I made something happen. I left, went outside, recorded, made something happen. Some days I would just stay in bed. I was just watching my dividends compound. Something was happening as I had to sit there and rest. I had to sit there and just let my mind relax. You understand what I'm saying? Things were in a better mindset. A lot of it too is because I made sure that I stayed alive. You understand? I dodged suicide. You understand? I was dodging suicide as much as possible. I was like, anything that's going to sit there and entice the suicidal thoughts, anything that's going to entice the homicidal thoughts. Sometimes people will sit there and be homicidal with their whole surroundings, if not people around them, just to avoid suicide because they really hurt inside. You got to think about it. Some people hurt inside so much they want to hurt others. It's very simple. It's very basic. A young man tried to hurt my feelings the other day by calling me out my name. And I looked at him and I just kind of nodded my head and smiled. And I was playing it off because I had headphones in. And I was like, I'm really about to wait till he goes outside. And I'm about to beat his ass. And I started thinking to myself as I'm sitting there, I'm like, hold on, I came here into this library space to do what I came to do. If he interrupts what I came here to do, that's when I take him outside and just like, boom, hit him with the whoop bop. He didn't do none of that. He was just sitting there in his own zone, being disrespectful towards me, but respectful to everyone around me with lighter skin tones and lighter pigments. You know how that go. If you know what it is, man, like I said, we used to organize and do little programs around institutionalized racism and including internalized racism. This is the way that we treat each other sometimes, especially when you come from this background. So it's just kind of fucked up and foul how we treat each other sometimes, man. But because of that, and I'm aware of other people's dramas, aware of other brothers' traumas and shit, I make it a thing where I'm like, hey man, if it comes down to it, I never want to hurt any brothers, man. Black and brown alike. You know what I'm saying? Black and brown alike. Ain't gonna hurt no brothers, man. If they tripping, I'm gonna sit there and talk to them. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Like, hey, talk to me. What's going on with you, man? I know you coming at your face right now, insulting me. We don't know each other. What's really going on? Just talk to me. And I might have to pull them to the side. Like, nah, cut that out. Let's talk on the side. Fuck that. You don't gotta sit there and pose in front of your friends, family members. Just talk to me because you talking to me crazy, but I want to get down to the bottom of it because it might be something crazy that's gonna happen. But I don't want to be the guy to do it. So I have to sit there and just really. And like I said, I've been trying to get out of that rut. I've been sitting there trying to heal. Like I took care of 50% of healing within myself. Took care of the haunting more or less, and now we just work on the rest now. Everything is compounding and taking care of itself. Like I say, you can sit there and become stagnant about these things. You can be frozen about it. You can let it freeze you. Or every time you think about it, you can think back to like, you know what, man? Because that's how the whole 10,000 thing started, man. The power of 10,000. You understand what I'm trying to say? The power of 10,000. Because getting to the 10,000 in the first place was the fact that like, I've never met anyone in my family that had that much in savings. I need to make this happen. If I can still be under someone's roof and invest $200 a week, there's 52 weeks in a year. 52 times 200, that is 10,400. That means I can get there within a year, and I can be the person that can take care of everyone. That's what I kept thinking about. I could be someone that I could be like the bank for my family. I could take care of people. My cousin needed some payments for the cars. I'm like, you need 500, I got you. You need 1,000, I got you. Like, I'll pay you back. I was like, don't worry about it. Just pay me back whenever. You don't owe me anything. You guys are taking care of me my whole life. I just want to take care of you guys. That's just how I felt inside personally. And every time I would do that, I would do that. Because I wanted to be the person that was financially, not necessarily responsible, but I wanted to help and give back to people that took care of me my whole life. They give me rides all the time. Sometimes I don't even ask for it, but they just take care of me. So I want to take care of them. I want to be for them. And all I really knew was like I started to figure out the math that we've never been able to do within our family financially. That's just who I wanted to be. And I was able to provide that. Now I realized that's how it started. You understand? Because I remember us in those days when we couldn't pay for shit. We were struggling to pull money together for like a specific U-Haul truck or whatever. We just try, you know what I'm saying? Like just little things like that. I remember those days. We didn't even have like food on the table for a while. People would just buy us food to bring it. we'd have to walk up to the food bank. They're like, we're not open today. You got to come back later in the week. I'm like, damn, we gonna have to be hungry today and wait for the next day and a half for this shit to open up so we can get some expired cereal or something stupid. But you was always making something happen. You understand? Always making something happen. I don't ever want to feel something that I went through in my childhood, if not my adulthood or just in my life in general, and then make me stand still. I want to take it as motivation. And you see me taking that same thing, flipping it and sharing it with y'all. Hopefully it makes sense. My bad. I'm monitoring my time. I got to monitor my time here, man. But hopefully what I'm saying is making sense. I'm wrapping, I knew there was going to be a lot to cover, but I want to wrap it up on this, man. Even with all that being said, even me being that type of person, I'm not on the same wavelength as a lot of family members and friends right now. Let's be honest about it. I wrote this note. All I said was, there's a reason that you got left behind and left right here. Final note, before I forget, you also don't want to be caught up with the wrong crowd of elites. I know some people that are doing a lot better than me mentally. A lot of times they went through the mental shit that I had to hurdle, so I get it. I know people doing a lot better than me financially. And I know it's because they had a better financial standing ground, you understand, than I did. They had people in their household or their life that were literate in the language of English. English wasn't the second language, if not the third language that they learned. And more importantly, like, they didn't necessarily have generational trauma that was bogging them down. They didn't have someone like me to do the math and do the et ceteras, to sit there and make sure it was all undone. It's hard to see that, man, because I'm providing a minimum compared to the maximum of what I can potentially do. So it's hard to say that like the generational curses have ended. But you got to think about my specific household sometimes, man. It's like the household itself got left behind compared to the rest of the family. Then people moving on. You got people that moved on to the highest form. The crowd of elites that they're around sometimes, man, it's just people that like, yeah, they're all about the money, but they don't know how to undo and really check all this real weird cultural stuff. Because a lot of times, whether it's a cultural thing, this, you could talk to any black person, they'll tell you, man. Because a lot of times they don't feel wanted, but then everybody wants what they culturally do. Think about that shit. Think about a lot of these artists. It don't matter if it's K-pop shit, Bruno Mars, whatever, man. People doing all this funny stuff where it's like, we don't want to deal with y'all, but we want to take the art that you create and flip it or whatever. That happens a lot of times within families as well. So I speak about that on behalf in regards to my own family and household. Excuse me, I'm checking the time right here. Where it's just like, yo, you like what we came from. When you guys needed information about the family tree, what everything came from, all this stuff, like, yeah, you could have came to the house, so we would have had all the info for you. We would have all the experiences for you. But at the same time, ain't nobody coming here to bring no therapist up in there. Not that they would know that. Not that they would know to do that. Excuse me. So I think about that sometimes, man. We're just like, nobody wants to feel like they're being left behind. And I could sit there and blame the fact that, like, oh man, we're not financially literate. All people in this household is like physically handicapped. All people in this household, it's like English is second, if not third language. I don't make no excuses about that, man. But at the same time, I know I can shoot all the way to the top, but I'm being very careful about not being around them crowd of elite people. Because you're gonna be around some weird ass Epstein type of shit, man. I ain't trying to be around none of that. I don't want to be around like these other people that think they need to be around that type of crowd. I'm not saying I'm okay with being left behind, but again, back to the university mindset, everything going on inside eternally, I don't even feel left behind like that, man. When I really do the math and I really do the due diligence on my own personal history and life, I don't feel left behind. You understand? I don't, I'm aware of the haunting. I'm aware of the things that are sitting there lingering and still might be there and I have to continue to work on. And the fact that I can balance out working on that and moving forward and being the best version of myself all at the same time, I can multitask like that, even though it's not recommended. The fact that I can do that, I'm supercharged, bro. You understand? Pause. I'm super proud of myself. Ain't nobody doing it like me. And I want people to find that same aspect within themselves. Start congratulating yourself a little more. Start taking inventory of your own victories. You don't got to sit there and flaunt it with the world. Just make it clear that you're aware of it. And that's what makes you so strong and so super powered. And just move forward from that. Hey, man, we're getting close to that time. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all, man. Peace.